Google Maps now shows speed traps, potentially raising the ire of law enforcement. This is the Washington Post. Now, speed traps are a thing that you could report on Waze for a while now, and nobody really cared. I mean, I guess it wasn't such a big deal. But the thing is, if Google Maps now does it natively, this is immediately a thing that millions of people are going to use.
Oh, yeah.
And so there's going to be so many more people aware of where these speed traps exist. And I'm reading this article, and it said somewhere the user base of Google Maps, and this absolutely blew my mind here, is you can imagine it's a huge number. 177 million monthly active smartphone users. Almost 200 million monthly active. It's a gigantic social network of people going places. How genius is that? Google Maps is awesome.
Yes.
It's one of those things that you take for granted. You just forget not having it. You forget what life was like. Well, I'm sure there's a lot of people watching this that never knew what life was like pre-Google Maps. You take it for granted. It's wild. Now, adding this feature, it's even more useful. Law enforcement, on the other hand, not too happy about it. They claim that the risk here is these types of features might affect public safety, because now people are going to know when to speed, not to speed. But I guess the weird thing about a speed trap, if you know there's a speed trap, and within the city they just put speed traps everywhere, your app is just going to show everywhere's a speed trap.
Right. And who...
So you never speed, and you don't need the ticket.
That's true.
This is weird. But I guess you can't put a speed trap everywhere. It's probably not viable.
No. Because, I mean... Yeah. I'm just wondering who, implements this. If there's a speed trap there...
Users. You report it.
They report it.
Users report the speed trap. Okay. And they can report other things for the record. It's not just speed traps. On Waze, and now here, you can report a car that broke down. You can report construction.
Right.
All these things. Potholes, which can be useful to users, obviously. Does a speed trap fall into it? It's actually kind of a tough one from a ethical or legal, legislative standpoint, because do people have a right to know where a speed trap is?
They're supposed to surprise
That's
drivers.
how it works. But as a citizen, do you have a right to know? Let's say, for example, Will, it's not an app at all, but I see a speed trap and I call you and say there's a speed trap on the street. Did I just break? You see what I mean? It gets weirdly...
Yeah, you're going to jail, though.
It gets cloudy.
Yeah.
Or if you blink your lights.
Right.
But there was actually a case here of a guy holding a sign in front of a speed trap saying there's a speed trap.
He really wanted...
Yes, and they had to drop the charges on him. Even though they picked him up because they were mad, they had to drop the charges. He can stand there with the sign.
This isn't too bad.
Happening in the public.
The speed trap. Unless Google decides to acknowledge there's a speed trap and finds a reroute.
Yeah, reroute you around a speed trap. Or...
that would be more malicious.
But what about a warning? There's a speed trap in 5 minutes. Slow down.
I personally would like that.
Of course, the user would love it. You were going to get a speeding
Yeah,
ticket.
the police.
But they're saying, we're not going to be able to get the revenue. We're not going to give you the ticket. And now you're going to be so confident in the speed trap reporting that you will speed without warning.
I see.
Only when the speed trap warning comes up will you actually drive the speed limit, because you'll be so confident that you won't be caught in a speed trap. What's that? You see, and that's the problem. You start to get conditioned for the idea of having two different driving methods depending on what the app is telling you.
So what does Google gain from this?
Oh, you love Maps more. You need to use Maps. You'll never not have Maps on.
That's the distinct feature, you think?
I think that's a killer feature.
I see.
I think that's why people use Waze right now.
Yeah, I love Waze.
Yeah, I think you have that. But it's not, like I said, it's not just the ability to report the speed trap. It's also the broke down vehicles, all the accumulation of information that can help you make a better decision and affect your day. You're going to save time. The other thing with the speed trap is maybe it's if they're pulling people over on the side of the road, it's going to slow down your route. Because even if you're just driving the speed limit, if you've ever seen this, when a person's pulled over, everyone slows down.
Yeah, they want to know what's up.
They slow down, they do this, and their pace goes down, maybe even below the speed limit. And they're sporadic, them hitting the brakes. You might want to avoid it altogether and just take a reroute. So it's very interesting, but the feature, I guess the feature's rolling out right now. Yeah, it's rolling out. It's going to bring crashes and slowdowns in real time to its Maps app, making the new feature available to about 1 billion existing users worldwide. 1 billion worldwide users are about to know where all the speed traps are. Imagine how the speeding revenue will go down for all local police departments instantly as 1 billion users get access to this feature. Because I get it, it did exist on Waze, but that was a much smaller demographic of users comparatively.
Yeah.
What does Google gain by implementing this? They own Waze.
Yes.
So they have that data.
But it's not the data. They want the users. They want you to be locked into Google Maps, so then their competitors are further behind. So by having Waze be good is one step, but you were never going to have the footprint, the user base that Maps did. So take what you learn in Waze and then implement it in Maps for the real business. Because it's going to be the type of thing where you can't have your maps off when you're driving. There's no relaxing coastal drive anymore with the maps turned off. They got to keep you locked in, keep you connected.
Are they going to advertise through Maps, do you think?
Well, it's possible that they advertise through Maps, but with Google, it's always some way down the road play. Eventually, they'll probably, local destinations on your map will be able to advertise. McDonald's has a deal at 2 p.m. and it's on your route. Imagine that. The future. Also, avoid the speed trap in the meantime.
Yes.
To McDonald's. You see where I'm going here? It's all very intense, but it's cool nonetheless. I think a ton of people are going to start using this as it rolls out. 1 billion users, 177 million active users a month. Google Maps. What a time.